And for more on this story, I'm now joined live by Richard Johnson, who's a lecturer in U.S. politics and international relations at Lancaster University. Richard, thank you very much for joining us here on TRT World. Donald Trump is receiving a special gift there from government for his first anniversary as president. How long is this shutdown going to last, and what kind of impact will this have on Donald Trump's administration?
Obviously, this is very bad timing for the president. But in some sense, it's a high-risk gamble from the Democrats. I thought the polling, snap polling on who was to blame was quite interesting. There's about 35% of Americans who blame congressional Democrats, about 30% who blame congressional Republicans, and about 20% who blame the Republican, and the rest blame everyone. So at the moment, it's not clear who's going to get the blame for this. And so if it's not clear that President Trump is going to receive the full blowback from this, then he might be willing to string this out for a long period of time. Because at the end of the day, the DACA program cuts across the partisan divide very firmly. And so Republicans are going to not want to see that DACA program continued. Democratic-based voters are going to want to see it continued. And so I think it could be a lengthy impasse.
Now, the world has been fascinated and at times even shocked by Donald Trump's behavior. What is your evaluation so far? Overall, has Donald Trump done as good as a job as he seems to think he's doing?
Well, I think that we have to distinguish between the performance artist, that is Donald Trump, and the president, who is Donald Trump. And when I say the president, I mean the person who's in charge of the executive branch and wields a great deal of power within the executive branch. You know, President Trump has been consequential, whether that's in energy and environment policies, where he's jettisoned a great deal of environmental legislation, but opened up millions of acres of federal land, including wildlife refuges for oil and natural gas exploration. He's changed the entire trajectory of where the Justice Department was going on voting rights cases. So the Justice Department has switched from defending African-American plaintiffs in voting rights cases to supporting state governments who have been alleged to be trying to disenfranchise minority voters. So those sort of things are very consequential, and we shouldn't allow what seems to be the sort of chaotic personality of the president, who at the end of the day is an entertainer. And that's partly why he was elected, because a number of Americans wanted an entertainer. They wanted someone who was going to make things interesting and shake things up. And we can't allow that to, for us to overlook actually some of the very serious things, possibly quite damaging things, that his administration has been doing through the executive branch.
He has certainly made things interesting. And I know he's quite hard to predict, Richard, but what can we expect from Donald Trump in year two? What do you think are going to be his main areas of focus?
Well, it's really the first year of the president's first term where most of the major pieces of legislation occur, or really into the spring. So if we see it as a sort of long first year, I think the president probably has another sort of 6 months to get through any more pieces of legislation that he might want to do. That might be on the war, that might be on infrastructure, might be on the opioid crisis. I mean, those are areas that the president had made big commitments and really hasn't followed through yet on those. But once we get into the summer, then really the window of opportunity for the president is going to diminish as the focus then turns on to the midterm elections for Congress. And it remains to be seen whether the president might lose some seats in the House of Representatives. I think it's too early to say whether he'd lose control. But there are some seats in some states like California and New Jersey where Republican members of Congress are probably feeling a little bit vulnerable at this stage in the game.
Richard Johnson from Lancaster University, thank you very much for speaking to us.